Hi there, Trae Ashlie-Garen here from 6 Acts of Receiving. I don't know what the matrix is that brought you here to this particular page, but I do know that there aren't any accidents. And what I'd like to share with you is that the people who come to the 6 Acts of Receiving site are typically disillusioned with the whole idea of conscious creation. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean about the way we go after our dreams, the way we go after our desires, and the way that we actually create or manifest what we want in our lives. Part of the reason that people get a little bit disillusioned about that is because of the way that we look at our lives. We look at going after particular kinds of results. Now, don't get me wrong, results are important. They're absolutely important. But the way that we go about them is we tend to look that we're not only at cause of them, in other words, we're not only making things happen, but we're also at the result. We're also at the effect. And the truth of the matter is that that effect is typically not in our control. There are other variables. And if the truth be known, really those other variables are about what other people are doing or not doing. And are they at cause in their lives? So really what life is asking of us is it's asking of us to truly be at cause in our lives so that we can demonstrate and give permission so that people can actually see that they can do it for themselves and they can step into that space for themselves as well. So how do we actually do that? How do we actually step into our desires in such a way that we don't have such an attachment to the outcome? That we can adapt and shift and change as that new information comes in and as the possibilities expand? How do we actually deal with the restlessness when things aren't going the way that we really want them to? How do we work with that? Well, this is how. We have something called the 6 Acts of Receiving Playbook. This has been 4 years in development. We've been working on it for quite some time. We've been putting people through it, test drives, focus groups, you name it, to actually see how this thing works and why it works as well as it does. And this is what we found out. We found out that it's about people tuning into their desires with less attachment and with a way that's open to different possibilities and not limiting the possibilities that are coming to them by being stuck on one thing. So, this is just like a child's playbook except for adults, though we have found out that it works for children equally as well. This is the way what it's going to look like, but then construction, it's going to look a little bit different. So it's going to be a heavier construction because this is way too flimsy, and instead of a Surlox, it's going to have a Wiro, which means it's going to be sturdy enough to actually spin around. This is not a book that you have to read. This is not about pages and pages and days of reading to try to get a concept. This is a practical learning tool, and what it does is it allows you to dive in right away. There's just a little bit of a description at the beginning and that's it. And then you give yourself permission to dive into the 6 different acts or the 6 different ways by which we receive new information. The first one is to give attention. Okay? Giving attention to something better, something more, something different, or something new. Each section is divided into 3 components, and you can see them here. And you can flip between each of them and mix and match these statements however you see fit and whatever works for you in the moment. I'm not going to go through each of these because it's going to take too much time, but the second section is to become aware. The next section after that, to think. The next section after that, to feel. The next section after that, to engage. And then the final section, my favorite, to take action. Okay? We have an investor who's willing to take this to production now. We can get these manufactured if we have 150 sold within the next 2 months. That's part of the reason why you've been drawn here. You have the opportunity to purchase one of these or a package of 3 or more and to be one of the first to have a playbook hot off the presses this fall. It's more than that though. What we've discovered is as people start to use this and start opening themselves up to possibility, it's not about their own personal growth or their own personal goals. It becomes how they start to look at interactions with others. It becomes about being cooperative and being collaborative and being in communities of possibility. It's about opening up your minds and your hearts and your being to what it is that you don't know yet. That's where we like to play. So we're asking for your support to help move this forward and get as many of these into people's hands as possible. And we're looking to truly grow together, to talk, to learn, to use this and see where it takes us. That's still in development. Everything here is still in development. So I would really encourage you, be part of the journey. And let's see where it takes all of us in the next little while. Take care, namaste, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye-bye.